Running Sentences presents a short story. To Jail with You. Written by Michael Henry. A man is sentenced to jail for his crimes, but finds the jail he's going to is actually quite unusual. His excitement soon turns to fear, and then much, much worse. This story is a work of fiction. Any names, characters, businesses, events, and situations within this story are all products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to real people, situations, characters, businesses, events, and/or fictional events, characters, businesses, and so on, is purely coincidental. Copyright 2024, Michael Henry. All rights reserved. The room Jax entered was white. To him, the promise of a new-fangled prison looked great, since it was simple, clean, and really didn't look like a prison at all. All there was to it was a white room and a table with 2 chairs on either side of that. There was a wire mesh sort of device that was sitting on the table as well, but that was of no interest to him. Instead, he concentrated on the man in a business suit, sitting comfortably at the table, occupying one of the chairs. "So is this my prison?" His guards on either side of him push him forward towards that table. It wasn't an easy task, since his legs and arms were chained up with hand and ankle cuffs. "Welcome to prison, Mr. Jax Court. I'm the lead tester for this new prison system, and you can refer to me as Henry." Hi. Pushed to the table and then roughly sat down at that chair, Jax was surprised. Then the guards simply took a step back towards the door, leaving him alone. It expected them to treat him like a dangerous villain of some sort, but instead they seemed perfectly fine with him being near this Henry. "You signed up for the new experimental jail sentence, correct?" Yes, I did, yes. Is this it? Live in a white room with a table? What is this?" Jax asked. With a broad smile, Henry shook his head no, as if that was such a silly question, which worried Jax, since it was a pretty straightforward question. No, this is a safe space to conduct a test." That didn't make any sense, but the man was pointing towards the mesh headset that looked like it would go over an entire skull and had probes and angles and things on it that just didn't look very friendly. "This will be your prison, though," Henry said with what looked to be a dark smile. "A mesh headset is my prison, Mr. Henry?" "It is indeed. It's why you had to shave your head, since the connections to the probes aren't fully there yet, and, well, usually they should work through hair once everything's all set and done and tested." "That doesn't sound promising," Jax offered as he eyed the device on the table. "Oh, but it is. You just need to give me a second to explain." Raising his hands as much as he could, Jax pretended to surrender, since it seemed like the right thing to do. But his fear and dislike of this situation was growing by the moment. "What you will be admitted to is being called a virtual prison. You will experience the full life of your sentencing, but it will occur only in your mind. All the while, you'll just be sitting here, safe and sound, unharmed. Doesn't that sound special?" "It's safe?" Jax found himself asking. "Well, yes, but, that's actually what we're here to find out, Mr. Jax." I don't think I was told any of this." No, you were. All of the paperwork has already been signed and dotted, and you signed it. It isn't up to you anymore. You've signed the contracts, and the contracts are the contracts." "I want my lawyer, sir?" "They can't help you, Jax. It's all very iron-tight and clad up in the most legalese you will ever see. Well, from what I saw anyway. In fact, it would be better just to get on with the tests." The man reached down for the wire mesh headset-like device in front of him. More worry shot through Jax. The mere sight of it, and the probes, looked like they would poke actually into his skin, so he tries to back away. "I withdraw all consent." No, it's too late for that, sir. You get to experience the life of a prisoner." Henry reaches forward with the mesh helmet-like thing to put it on Jax's head. Trying to back away, though, Jax pushed his head as far away to stop this man. He thought of getting up and running away, but before he could do that, hands clamped down on his shoulders. "No, I don't like this. Stop it at once," Jax complained. "Calm down. It will all be in your mind, and it will be over in just a second. It's great. Trust me." Despite all of his efforts, the mesh settled onto Jax's head, and things went bright white inside of his mind, then blanked everything out. A heavy weight felt like it was pressing hard down on his skull, like the world was pressing down onto him. For a second he could make out images, prison cells, fellow cellmates, things flashing and then gone before his mind could fully comprehend them. Then it was all being lifted off of him. "There we go now. How do you feel?" "Feel? How do I feel, sir?" "Yes, Mr. Jax, we need to know how things were in there for this experiment, so if you could please talk to me about it." "I died," Jax roared. A notebook had appeared before Mr. Henry, and he quickly began writing down on it. There was also a little recording device by his side, with a red light going off saying it was recording. "Completely expected of that, so tell me more," Henry said with a smile as he looked up at Jax, waiting for more. "On the first day, the first thing I did was walk into a cell and found my cellmate dead. Another prisoner, who was there already, turns around, sees me, and stabs me." Henry looks up to Jax, as he was expecting more, and Jax was just not feeling very comfortable. A cold sweat had broken all over his face, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. His hands were still chained up, so he couldn't reach up there, and there was nothing to wipe it off with anyway. The orange jumpsuit might do the trick, but being unable to move much... "This was on the first day, you say?" "Yes, it was." Yes, well, that's all wrong, Mr. Jax. It was supposed to happen on the second day, not the first. But that will be sorted out in a short time, I suppose. If it is a bug and not random chance. Might be a random chance. Oh, it gets fucking worse. I was revived, and then on the second day, I got executed for being the murderer of my cellmate. I came into the damned place with him already dead. Henry was neatly writing away on his notepad, shaking his head yes, as if this sounded right and good. How could this remotely be a good thing? Yes, that's actually what was supposed to happen, Henry said dismissively. What? Do you even know why I was sent to prison? What crime I've committed? Jax asked. No, it doesn't matter one bit how severe your crime was. It's all the same in our eyes. We just need tests, and done soon. I was killed and then brought back to life 7 times over what felt like 40 years. My sentence is supposed to be a year long. How is any of this okay? It is all in the name of science and making sure the prisoners learn a good sentence. That lesson will always be, don't fuck with the prison system. Pushing and pulling on his chains did no good for Jax, who managed to get up from his chair. There was nowhere to go, but he couldn't stay here. Besides, he had now served his sentence several fucking times over. Where do you think you're going, sir? Henry asked. Away from this madhouse, Henry. I've done my time. The man wagged a finger at him. No, you have not. You've only begun to serve your time. The testing phase has only just begun. You're here with us testing for the next few years. My sentencing doesn't last that long. I took a candy bar from a store, one little bar, and was told to report to prison for 2 months to a year for my crime. If I did well, I would get out early. How can you justify this treatment? Henry waves his hand, to which the 2 guards then close in on Jax, grabbing a hold of him. That is not my problem. I'm doing my job and now you're helping me do my job, so it's all good. I'm not even being paid to put up with this torture. I was killed repeatedly and brought back to life repeatedly. This is inhumane, Jax complained. Nah, I'm not paid to care about that part of the problem. My bosses want data and don't care how I get it. Plus, you signed all the contracts, so you must fulfill it, and it's all out of my hands, so stop complaining to me. With that, the guards grabbed a hold of Jax and began pulling him away as he fought and struggled to get free. The handcuffs and leg cuffs, though, made it so that he couldn't really do anything. I want my lawyer. One will be with you in 10 to 15 business days once we get a hold of them. This may take longer or shorter, but it will take time. Until then, the test will continue, Henry happily announced. Out the door Jax was dragged, and a hand from one of the guards clamped over his mouth to stop anything further from coming out. The end of To Jail With You. Thank you for listening.